I'm Susie Vance, creating from the heart the artistry of living. You're here today with me and Jim Welborne. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing good.
So you have done a lot of things, and you've been what I, in my uninformed way, would say you're a geek.
A little bit of a geek, yeah.
You are a person who has spent a lot of your life working in computers.
Correct.
Doing all kinds of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever got you into that? I mean, you're my age.
Yeah. In 1967,
Okay.
I was teaching math at Bishop Noel Institute in Hammond. We had a math club.
Okay.
And I knew a person who worked at IIT, Illinois Institute of Technology.
Yes.
And they arranged for us to be able to use their computer overnight. So in my math club, I taught computer programming. 1967, I was teaching computer programming at the high school level. We were using teletypes with paper tape.
67 is only just after I graduated from high school.
Yeah. You could have been in my math class.
I could have.
But yeah, we used paper tape. We would type up the program, and then overnight we would the teletype would transmit it to the computer in Chicago. It would process it and print out the results. And the next day when we came in, we had our results there.
What did it tell you?
Well, it depends on what we asked it to.
Oh, okay.
We would have different things the kids would program. They would learn how to program.
Uh-huh.
And then one day we had a open house, so the math club was showing off their computer skills. And the superintendent of the schools came through and said, "Can you do that for real?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Can you actually process grades?" I said, "Well, sure." So he took me out of the math class, put me in the office, and I computerized the school. Matter of fact, I computerized the diocesan schools. And then
This was in your free time? Was this your
no,
job?
that was my job. Okay.
Okay.
But I was no longer teaching math. I was doing the computer stuff. Well, then
I hope they paid you more.
No. Catholic school, remember?
Okay.
Two years later, matter of fact, 2 years later, they came to me and they said, well, we ran out of money in our budget to pay for your job. I said, okay, I'll go back to teaching math. They said, no, we hired another math teacher. So they basically threw me out.
Are you kidding?
No.
That is unbelievable. Okay, so what did you do?
Well,
Did you apply for another job teaching math?
No. Actually, I found that quote that J.M.R. Ruby in Michigan City
Yes.
was looking for a computer programmer. So I sent an application in and got an interview. But they wanted a computer programmer in COBOL, which at that time was the business language that everybody was writing in.
Okay.
I had never written in COBOL. I was writing in ITRAN, IIT's translator.
Oh my God, this is too far geek for me.
Well,
Go ahead.
well, then I went to the bookstore. I got 3 books on how to write COBOL. I read them over the weekend. I took a piece of paper and I wrote a little program out and then I followed it. And I was able to print the numbers 1 to 10. So I went to my interview on Monday. They asked me, "Do you have any experience in COBOL?" I said, "Well, I have limited experience." And I got the job.
That is stunning.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever got you interested in all of this to begin with?
Just the idea of, I graduated college with a degree in theoretical mathematics,
Okay.
minor in philosophy. So I went to get a job. Nobody would hire me, okay? You can only think, you can't do anything, got no skills. So I got into teaching, and that's how I started getting into the computer stuff.
And then
It just
got this job, and what happened?
Well, I was a computer programmer, and then I moved up into a systems analyst, which is a person who designs the systems rather than programs them. And then I got a job offer at Crow Chiswick and Company in South Bend to be their IT manager. So I went there and I did that for 15 years. And then I came back and started my own company in doing computer consulting.
That is amazing. What a story. That's a change in generations. That's what that is. I mean, it's a change in ways of doing business.
Oh, yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, well, there were no computer programming courses then. There were no computer courses.
You had to read a book.
Everything you do everything on your own. That's right. Yep.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And then you went on to become part of Rotary.
Yes, I did.
Tell me about that.
Ed and I saw one of my clients when I started my business.
Yes.
I was in there doing some work with him. He says, have you ever been in Rotary? I said, no. He says, why don't you come to a meeting with me? So I went to a meeting in Rotary, and I saw in Rotary that it was very much like scouting.
Okay.
And I have a career in scouting. I got over 50 years in scouting now. Okay. And I noticed that the whole idea of service above self was exactly what the Boy Scouts were about. Okay. So I said, yeah, I'll join this group. Well, whenever I join any group, I'm always committed to it.
I've noticed.
Yeah. Like when I was in the Scouts, I became a Scout, I became an Eagle Scout, Assistant Scoutmaster, district person on the board of directors, became 4 different vice presidents, became president of the council, and am still involved in the council at this time on the board of directors. So that's a long career in scouting.
That is a long career in scouting.
And then
and what's that about?
Scouting?
Yes. No, for you.
Oh, for me? I tell you what, when I was a kid, I grew up in downtown Gary, Indiana.
Okay.
Steel mill town.
Yes.
I lived 2 blocks from the main entrance of U.S. Steel.
Okay.
I wasn't exactly what you'd call a commendable person at that time.
Ooh.
When I was in when I was in 5th grade, I started smoking because it was a thing at that time.
It was.
See, 5th grade, that would have made me. What are you, 5th grade? You're about 9.
Yeah, 10. 9
or 10. So that would have been about 1954. Okay, and then smoking was the thing. Okay, so I was doing that, and then I got involved with another kid who was a little really bad. Okay, and I got involved in scouting, and scouting took me out of that life. Okay.
How did you get involved in scouting? Was that a parent thing that?
No, they had a Cub Scout. They had a Cub Scout open house at school, and my mom and dad went with me, and said, "Well, you want to do that?" And I said, "Sure, I'll do that." And again, just like anything else, once I commit to something, I'm committed.
Yes.
Okay, and so that's what took me from a Cub Scout all the way through being an Eagle Scout.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Eagle Scouting, which you're still involved in.
Right. Once you're an Eagle, you're always an Eagle. And then
once you're a curved bar, you're always a curved bar.
There you go.
Okay. And then you went on in the business world. After you probably got established, you started doing things with Rotary.
Right. And I started out with Rotary. First thing I did was become a member of the board after I got in here for a couple of years. And then...
But Rotary is an international organization.
Yes, it is.
And you got really involved in
yes, I did.
international project.
Right. After the year after I became president of Rotary for the first time, okay, I went to India with Rotary and gave polio vaccinations out.
Wow.
And this was in the year 2001.
Okay.
And I'm happy to say that India is now polio free. So I had a little bit to play in getting India polio free.
That's good.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Of course, I had a dual purpose of going to India because my daughter at that time was in Nepal. It was part of the State Department in the embassy. So when we were in India, we just took a little side trip north and went in Nepal to see her.
A little side.
A little side trip north, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you came back.
Then we came
you were
back
in Michigan City, and you've been a Rotarian ever since.
That's correct.
And I have to say, you were part of what saved Rotary in Michigan City during COVID. Probably not the least of which reason is that you knew about computers.
Right. The fact that I knew about computers meant that I was able to quickly get into the whole idea of having remote meetings. And so I set everything up, and we had people doing it remotely and as well as, locally.
And now we're coming out of COVID.
Now we're coming out of COVID, thank goodness.
That's great.
Yeah.
So if you had any advice to share with, for example, those young students you were teaching about what it was like to find what made your heart sing, both professionally and as a volunteer, what would you say to them?
Go where your heart is.
There you
Okay. Go with what you think is something that you. All young people want to have want to make a difference.
They do.
Okay.
They want to be recognized.
They want to be recognized. They want to make a difference. They have high ideals.
Yes.
Okay. Act on them. Get your face out of the phone and do something. Okay. That would be my suggestion.
Yes, and one of the things that seems to me, which is a good example for you that you epitomize, is that when you get your face out of the phone and when you go out into your community and you connect,
right,
you never know what you'll find.
That's right.
That's amazing, because you were teaching math.
Yes.
And you found a way
I found
into
computers,
the school
right.
system.
Right.
And then they said, oh, no, thank you.
Right.
And you said, oh, but I love that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So instead of hanging around, teaching, I went into the computer business.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that was as much fun for you, maybe even more, as teaching?
Yeah, I love teaching. I already did.
Yes.
Matter of fact, a few years ago, I was teaching at Notre Dame.
Really?
In South Bend, I was teaching computer programming. I was actually teaching a course. You'll love this course. It was called Mastering the Macintosh. And it was a course for non-computer students in college on how to make the Mac a tool to get them through their education.
I should have been in your class. I bet you know things I don't know.
Yeah, I know a lot about Macs now that I didn't know before.
Well, that's good. Well, thank you so much. This has been really fun.
Yeah, it's been great talking to you too.
Okay. Creating from the Heart, the Artistry of Living, Jim Welborne. And if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, where would they reach you?
They would reach me at jwelborne@welborne.com.
There you go. So you know where to find this geek. Thank you very much, and see you again.